Welcome back to another episode of Paul Wonks and Kundigungans. Episode 7!
7.
Yeah. Last episode we were chasing the marsupial frog, or the hip-pouched frog.
Hip-pocket frog.
Pouched hip-pocket frog. That's the Darlington eye. And for this episode, this is just a bit of a disclaimer for this episode.
So we've got a preamble going.
We weren't planning on making this episode.
No.
And for that reason, a few things sort of didn't work out the way that we wanted them to. We didn't have any cameras on us, so we had a point and shoot camera, which is good for doing sort of environmental stuff, but not so good if you want to film a frog that's that big.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, what we didn't get to convey is that these frogs, which live primarily in this Antarctic beech forest, and these Antarctic beech trees can be 12,000 years old. You know,
Very limited spaces they grow in as well. There's not too many big stands of them.
Yeah, not many like massive groves of just Antarctic beech tree. And you know, if you consider that 12,000 years ago there were still woolly mammoths walking on Earth, some of these trees that we're walking amongst may have been around that same time. And so these Philoria loveridgei, the ones that we stumbled across in this video, may well be a remnant species because of that. You know, these trees are remnants of Gondwana, basically.
Exactly.
So
12,000 years old.
yeah, but those are the individual trees. The species themselves have been around for millions and millions of years, hence why they were
A real relic of the past.
Massive relic of the past, ancient forests, and so it was just an absolute privilege to go around there and then accidentally find a frog and film an episode for you that we were planning on doing months and months and months into the future. We weren't planning on finding it at all.
No, not at all.
The Antarctic beech trees that we're surrounded by in this forest are what used to be called Nothofagus morii, or whatever. Lophazania morii.
Yeah, Lophazania.
Is that it?
Sure. Doesn't matter, who's gonna care? This is frogs, this isn't plants.
On our sister podcast.
Xanthrias and Araucarias.
Yeah.
Man, that'd be boring.
Plants are good.
Sure.
And there's a lot of stuff that we wanted to say about the frog, but because we weren't expecting to see it, we didn't really put it down on camera.
No, exactly. Caught off guard. Had only done a little bit of research.
And I was photographing a bird, and I heard a call behind me, and this is what happened.
Vegas,
Morii.
but they're not.
Not anymore.
It says Rebel. It's Ben.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Boy with the camera on this nice sign.
We just finished walking for 2 hours in this ancient Antarctic beech forest. Right on the road, I heard loveridgei's frog. So now we're trying to slowly get closer and closer to it.
We're at the very end of their breeding season now. Weren't really expecting to hear them at all. But hey, we might find one for you.
We've come out initially to look for birds, rufous scrubbird, in these ancient Antarctic beech forests. We think we may have heard Philoria loveridgei, the loveridge's mountain frog. We're going to hang around a little bit, see if we can't find it. And I've got a leech on my leg.
So we managed to track the loveridge's frog to this single little bit of habitat. I was trying to triangulate it.
Yeah, this is a different spot to where we were before. Just we just didn't want to damage that habitat.
Yeah, this is much more open and right at the base of an Antarctic beech tree.
Yeah.
So
Is that him?
Yep.
Oh my god. Philoria loveridgei, masked mountain frog. This guy's got a interesting dorsal spine going on. You know what's funny?
What?
Sean forgot his camera.
yeah, just wasn't anticipating having to do frog photos during the day.
Endangered frog.
So we're completely unprepared today. This
Absolutely unprepared.
is completely, well, not completely out of season, but relatively out of season. I was just standing taking photos of birds, and I heard this call behind me that I was not anticipating at all.
No, not at all.
We checked there, and we couldn't find anything. And then we've come to this spot here. While walking, we heard the same call again. Spent quite a while looking around and didn't find anything until we found this little thing.
Frog.
Easily the rarest frog that we've found so far.
Yeah, definitely. The best frog we've found so far.
The best, without a doubt.
It's one of those frogs that you never think you're gonna find just because it's so rare. It's not something you can go out of your way and expect to see even. People strike out on these guys all the time.
Yeah. People...
It's outside of breeding season, or just. Most of them should have been nesting by now, so it was surprised to hear them calling.
Yeah, Daniel was saying before that of most of the records, they sort of end around January, and we're here on the 2nd of February. So not totally out of season, and there's been no rain.
No rain.
So it's
Not
almost
all this year.
It's almost like the rules sort of don't
Apply anymore.
They just don't apply.
I don't think it matters.
And it was all thanks to that guy. Hey, Mark. His maiden Pobblebonks in Kundagungan's voyage. Loveridges in particular, live in this Antarctic beech forest, this remnant Gondwanan forest. And so it's quite a magical place to hang out and look for frogs, and especially when you're not looking for them and not finding one of the rarest frogs in southeast Queensland. Very happy about that. So hope you've enjoyed coming along on this impromptu journey. I'm sorry that our footage is
Mediocre.
it's fun. It's generally mediocre, but today in particular we don't even have our macro lens. So
we'll catch you for the next frog.
Woo!
That's a nice butterfly.
It's a very nice butterfly.
It's so cool.